The adventure on Devil Island actually began on another island, Sloodle Island. In addition to the excellent Sloodle tools, our program also benefited from a generous land grant from Sloodle.org. In the early missions, we used the Sloodle land for our home base. Several Sloodle tools were key parts of this program. The Sloodle registration booth, object distributor, and toolbar were core items used in the early missions. The registration booth connected our students' avatars with their accounts on our Moodle site. This simple step was crucial, as it would allow the connection of the students' in-world experience with a series of structured events laid out on our Moodle site. Sloodle registration enabled the distribution of objects in-world using the object distributor, also known as the vending machine. For my KAIST students, the blog tool included with the Sloodle toolbar would be the tool they'd be using the most. With their avatars linked to our Moodle and their blog tool connected, KAIST students would be tasked to record their impressions of their adventures each week in the form of photo blogs. These interactions provided students with regular, personalized, and motivated opportunities to express themselves in written English. As the adventures allowed the students to explore, interact, and even create, their writing was energetic, authentic, and personal. In just this one way, Devil Island Mystery leveraged the Sloodle tools to inspire students to communicate in authentic, meaningful English. Sloodle tools were also used for some of the more advanced interactions during the missions. The Sloodle award system was used to track the students' interactions, as well as to reward them when they performed the appropriate tasks. Briefly, the award system connects a scoreboard in Second Life with a Moodle activity. The activity, in turn, can be connected to the Moodle gradebook. In-world, educators can add and display points to students based on their performance of tasks. Going one step further and adding a Sloodle award script to special objects, points can be automatically added when students interact with these objects. In Devil Island Mystery, we had several sets of these objects. In Mission 7, for example, students were tasked to explore Devil Island and find 10 tiki statues. The mission involved navigating the island and finding the objects. Once the item was found and clicked on, it registered the presence of the avatar and whether it had clicked on the object before. If not, it indicated that the avatar had found a tiki statue and that points would be awarded. The statue also offered the avatar a prize in the form of an object, such as a laptop or iPhone, which the avatar could then use or wear. Points were added to the scoreboard, which updated automatically. This mission created great interest among the students, who enjoyed the treasure hunt aspect of the mission, as well as the points and the gift incentives that finding objects brought. Although this mission was not strictly relevant to the overall goal of escaping Devil Island, it did prepare students to complete the next mission, finding the special plants and collecting the leaves, which was relevant to the story and was necessary for their continued progress. In many ways, Mission 7 was a training exercise to prepare them for the critical Mission 8. In Mission 8, again, the scoreboard was used to award points. This time, students received leaves instead of gifts. The leaves themselves were scripted items that would be needed for the next crucial mission. One of the most technically basic interactions was also one of the most compelling and difficult for the students. In Mission 6, students were required to reconstruct a broken stone map. The map was actually a grid of 16 blocks that could be dragged about by the team members until the pieces resembled a map. For your reference, the puzzle pieces were made with stackable graph cubes created by Peter Bloomfield, who is also a Sloodle developer. You can get them free, open source, at his website. The map would then reveal the locations of the special plants the students would need later to create the energy crystals. The map puzzle posed problems for groups of students who were all trying to move the pieces at the same time. In the early stages, this was very challenging and generated a great deal of excitement and frustration. In time, the teams coordinated their efforts and managed to solve the puzzle. To capture their chat interactions, Sloodle web intercoms were installed at each team location. As a result, the student interactions could be tracked to the Moodle chat logs, where they could be reviewed later. The web intercom chat logging function provided students with an opportunity to review their in-world interactions and see where communication was successful and where it failed. For educators, this tool is useful to see what sort of language students are using and how well they are able to stay on task. This simple and unobtrusive Sloodle tool is also one of the most powerful in terms of recording in-world communication events. Mission 9 is one of my favorites because it brings together some of the best interactions in Devil Island Mystery. In this mission, the students are required to combine special leaves in order to create an energy crystal. To do this, they were required to refer to the crystal formula written on one of Dr. Mo's journal pages. These pages were collected in Mission 5, in much the same way as the tiki statues and leaves in Missions 7 and 8 respectively. Once they recalled the formula, they were required to add the leaves one by one to the cauldron. However, adding the wrong leaf in the wrong order would result in a spectacular explosion. In time, they got the formula correct and were rewarded for it. A beautiful crystal would materialize over the cauldron, and the students would be offered a copy. The cauldron itself is not a Sloodle tool. However, we did use the Sloodle scoreboard and the Sloodle Awards activity to control how the leaves were distributed and how they were tracked to the students. In the final mission, the students were finally given a chance to escape Devil Island. However, first they would have to defend themselves from a horde of hungry zombies. The zombies came courtesy of Paul Prybish. Paul Prybish is a professional coder and developer for virtual worlds, and is also a former intern for the Sloodle project. Devil Island is actually English Village, an island belonging to Paul Prybish, which he generously donated for the use of this program. He's also responsible for the programming that made the scoreboard, the trackable objects, the cauldron, and the teleporter possible. Thanks, Paul. The zombie game was created by Paul Prybish, and subsequently modified to work with the Sloodle Quiz Chair. Originally, the Sloodle Quiz Chair allowed educators to run Moodle quizzes in Second Life using a chair-like object. When a student sits on a chair, they are presented with various quiz questions. If they answer correctly, the chair goes up. If they answer incorrectly, the chair goes down. In Paul Prybish's zombie game, the chair has been removed and replaced by zombies. When a student activates the zombie game, they are offered a sword and a sword HUD to control the sword. Zombies soon appear and can be chopped down using the sword. Once the zombie has been defeated, a quiz question appears. If the student answers the question correctly, the zombie disintegrates. If the answer is incorrect, the student is blown into the air. This element was combined with the final interaction, activating the teleporter, to increase interest and excitement. Instead of the zombie game Tombstone, a teleporter was used as the main object. When the teleporter was clicked on, the students received swords and sword HUDs, and the zombies were released. The quiz questions in this case were all related to Devil Island Mystery. Students were rewarded for having watched the episodes carefully, or punished for missing important details. Once the zombies were dispatched, the students were tasked to combine the energy crystals they had created in Mission 9 in order to power up the teleporter. The only problem was that the members of each team had only one kind of crystal and would need to find the other 5 crystals by communicating with members of other teams. The students quickly negotiated for the crystals and returned to their team location where they activated the teleporter and began adding the crystals. Once the crystals were combined correctly, the teleporter would light up with a bright particle effect, and the students would be offered a teleport location to escape to. Again, the teleporter, like the cauldron, is not a Sloodle tool. However, it is linked to the educational structure of Devil Island Mystery using other Sloodle tools, such as the Sloodle Awards and the Sloodle Scoreboard activity, as well as the Sloodle Quiz. The Sloodle tools were an essential part of Devil Island Mystery, not just for their function of providing Moodle-based services in Second Life, but also for their ability to frame and integrate non-Sloodle interactions in logical and coherent ways. Devil Island Mystery used Sloodle tools in non-traditional ways to create adventure-based learning interactions in a virtual world, rather than simply recreate a virtual classroom. The flexibility and modularity of Sloodle tools allowed the sometimes complex architecture of Devil Island Mystery to be tracked, verified, and structured in a pedagogically responsible way. Devil Island Mystery would have been impossible to achieve without the amazing and generous work of the people at Sloodle.org. Thanks go to Daniel Livingston, Jeremy Kemp, Edmund Edgar, Peter Bloomfield, and especially Paul Prybish for their hard work, brilliance, endless enthusiasm, and selfless dedication to education in virtual worlds. Thank you.